We have homeschool students in the state of Alaska never attend school to go to college. We have homeschool students in the state of Alaska that have never stepped foot in a school and take assessments for college and actually attend a college, and they attend colleges worldwide. We have foreign students who have never stepped foot in an American high school or elementary school and do not have a diploma. They go to American colleges by the tens of thousands. We have private schools that do not have diplomas and do not take our assessments. Monroe Catholic, bunches of others all over the state. Those kids go on to colleges and are high performing. So the idea that you need a state standardized assessment and or, interestingly enough, a diploma, you don't, to go to college. There are some colleges that want you to have a diploma, there's no doubt about it. But there's students that will take the TOEFL, the test of foreign language, et cetera, et cetera. They don't go. I'm not promoting this, I have a niece who dropped out of school in 10th grade in public school, went on to the university in Bristol, England, graduated with a master's in predictive analysis, mathematical modeling, and robotics, no high school diploma, one of 30 in the world that have done that. So you don't need those. They're tools that help the practitioners, no doubt about that, but you don't need that to go on to college. And I don't even want to get into a debate about college because the vast majority of folks we know today, from Facebook to Google to Microsoft, never graduated from college, but that's a whole other discussion for a whole other time. So really this comes down to, are these tools for practitioners? And I would contend absolutely they're tools for practitioners. But my point in all of this is to say that parents have rights. And this debate is really probably, in my opinion, one of the most interesting, and it's going to be a large one, because the question comes down to, what is the purpose of school? What is the role of a parent in that? And do they have inherent rights? My contention is they do have inherent rights. This bill merely states that they have inherent rights. As stated by Senator Gardner, and I think most of us, we have taken our children out of school when we thought it was appropriate to do so. This just states that here, if we believe there are inherent rights. But if we believe there are inherent rights too, the question then comes down to, is it the federal law that is it the tail wagging the dog? The federal law telling the state what to do, and thus the state, not overtly, but letting parents know that they have to take the test. You must take the test. If you don't take the test, we get in trouble. Schools get in trouble. So we really want you to take the test. Even though parents may be concerned about the sharing of their data, even though parents may be concerned about, not just parents, but there are a lot of teachers too, how much time are we giving for these tests? What do these tests really do? I asked a number of, for example, Commissioner and I were of similar age. We took the Iowa Test of Basic Skills or the CAT test. We filled in the circles, and that's the last thing we remembered. And then they went off somewhere, and that was it. We went on our merry way and continued with school. We never were told that those CAT tests were going to be, if you don't take the CAT test, your head will explode, or frogs will rain from the skies. It didn't happen. It never happened. And before '65, which was when the ESEA started under President Johnson, the Great Society, this was all state-focused. And if you go back to the data, the U.S. was one of the top performing high school systems in the world back then. Flash forward, or fast forward, since '65, we're dropping in the ranks. We're 24, 26. And I have to put this on the record. I commend the commissioner. He is one of the more focused individuals that I've seen on student performance and wanting to help kids. There is no doubt about that at all. It's just a question of what's the role of parents. Can a parent say, you want the test, I don't want the test. Who gets to choose who takes the test? It's my contention that parents do. Practitioners will say, well, that doesn't help us because there's going to be holes in our data. I agree. I think freedom is not free. I think it costs, and this is an example where it costs. It costs when you have holes in your data. But parents that willingly take their kids out of these tests or these programs, they're engaged. They're willingly taking them out, as was stated earlier by Senator Gardner. She was engaged. She was taking them out because she thought she wanted to take them out for her reasons. This bill merely illustrates that we have parental rights. So that really shouldn't be an argument for us that they have parental rights. Now, so the question goes, We need 95%. Is it 95% in our new assessments that go to the federal government? Right. And if we don't have 95%, there could be a penalty that comes down from Arnie Duncan, which is a whole other discussion, because you and I have talked about this, that whole concept of what U.S. Secretary Duncan did is questionably constitutional as to how that happened. So you have parents that are saying, enough. You'll have the vast majority of parents will still take the tests. The vast majority of parents will, because they want to. But for those that want to, what are we saying? Can't take it or we're in trouble? Can't take it or the federal government's going to do something? I'm willing to say, you know what? What are you going to do? Because every time we turn around in the state of Alaska, I'm sorry I'm doing this now. I'll be quiet a moment and turn it over to him, but every time we turn around in the state of Alaska, you can't pick up the paper without the federal government saying you can't do this in Anmore, you can't do this in Pebble Mine, you can't do this in the Tongass National Forest, you can't do this in your backyard, you can't have a burn barrel. And now, by God, you can't even have your kid miss a test. Now, a parent will stand back and say, wait a second, this whole test thing, where'd this test thing come from? Did the whole test concept come from the ground up, from parents banging on the school door saying, we want testing? I don't think so. I think it came from the top down, and people saying, you have to test. Well, if you don't test, things will happen. So I become one of those individuals who's been in education for almost 30 years. I have 3 kids that go to public school, no private school in my background at all. And last year and the year before, just an aside, we had a big discussion about school choice, and I was told, and to some degree I was actually convinced, that we have a lot of school choice in public schools. But lo and behold, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we do. Maybe we have the choice not to take the test, but if you don't take it, something could happen to the schools. Okay. Maybe we don't, as parents, maybe we want to choose not to have abortion providers. When our kids go to school, we think they're getting on the bus, some of us do, they're waddling off the bus in elementary, middle, and high school, and they go to school. We think they're going there for math, science, chemistry, physics, because we can't teach that. We're working and we don't have the expertise. You'd be amazed at the number of folks that have said to me, you got to be kidding me. When my kid goes to school, we have providers in there that are not employees of the school. Keep in mind, Commissioner, correct me if I'm wrong, but is there any prohibition from a health class in our schools from teaching sex ed? Is there a prohibition? No. And do we have some health classes teaching sex ed? Yes. Yeah, sure we do. Yes.
Your testimony?
Yes, we do. So there's no prohibition in this law against our teachers teaching sex ed in the classrooms. What this is about is a third party, this part of the bill, a third party being in the school and kids being intercepted by a third party. This is the concern, and I know people will disagree with this. This is the concern. Intercepted and getting in between parents and their kids. And all we're saying in the bill is, you know what, if you want to do that, do it outside the schools. Do it outside the schools, because we do a lot of things outside the schools. Some people don't want the Catholic Church in the schools going like this to kids and saying, we got a youth group we'd like we like to work with you on. We would hear that all over the place. So parental rights, I think folks agree, are inherent. I think we agree that the whole testing thing, for some of us, is getting a little strange and did not come from parents up. And I think a lot of folks in the state of Alaska who are working right now, who right now are not listening to this debate but waiting for their kids to come home, believe that when their kids go to school, they're learning the 3 R's. And believe that if they have to take them out or want to take them out, they should be able to take them out. All this bill does is reiterate that. And the other part of the bill says if you are a abortion service provider, we're not outlawing abortion service providers. We're saying take it outside the school. And if parents want to go to that, or if kids want to go to that, or youth groups want to go to that, they can go to that. That's what this bill says.